So in today's video, I need to tear down my Yz250f back here. I gave my garage a quick cleaning so that way it's easier to move everything around, get around the bike, and get access to my tools, so I organize the toolbox and everything. But last time I went riding, I got a new air filter and it didn't seal properly, and I didn't know it until the end of the day. And the bike was running weird, making a weird ticking noise, and so I pulled off, called it a day, and a few weeks later, pulled the air filter off and it had a ring where it didn't seal. So I'm gonna at least do the top end, I think. I don't know exactly yet, so I'm going to check the valves. I'm going to drain the oil, see how that looks. But if you guys didn't know, this is my 17 Yz250f. I bought this new a few years ago, and it's been solid. I've just did basic maintenance and got the forks done and whatnot, but it's been a great bike until the air filter didn't seal, and so I'm going to probably do a top end because it's still got a stock top end on it. It's probably got at least 100 hours. If you guys have never did a teardown before, I suggest getting some clean paper towels, a box or a tote to put stuff in, and I got some small Ziploc bags of label bolts and whatnot, and some masking tape and a Sharpie, wherever the Sharpie's at. But you want to do that just so you know where everything goes back, and it kind of keeps you organized. You can put it in a box, pull it out, and know where everything goes. But I'm going to start tearing the bike down. I'm going to get some lighting set up, drain the oil, see how that looks, and start checking the valves and pulling that cover off. So I just took the stator cover off because when I was running the bike, I could hear kind of like a ticking noise coming from down here. I just wanted to give this a wiggle and make sure there was no like actual play in like the main bearings or something. But we do have bad news. If you look inside there, you can kind of see some like copper colored metal shavings all up in there, and I scraped a ton of them out from down. That you can still see some floating in there, so that's not good. I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but I'm suspecting the maybe the connecting rod bearing. I don't know yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the stator cover back on. I'm gonna pull the oil filter and also pull this, which is a metal screen filter down here, and I'm gonna see how those look and see if there's any metal in there. But so far, not good. I was hoping for a top end and not a full complete rebuild, so fingers are still crossed, but it's not looking too hot. It's kind of hard to tell with this camera, but you can totally see all these shavings in here. I think it's from the connecting rod bearing. I'm not even going to check the valves. I'm just going to start tearing the top end down. Trying to get the throttle body off, and I just wanted to point something out, that when you're trying to remove the throttle body, don't ever remove the throttle position sensor bolts unless you have to. There's always a plug on the back of it, so that way you can leave it where it's at so you don't have to recalibrate it when you're done. These can adjust to like calibrate the sensor, so you want to leave these tight, leave it on the throttle body or carburetor, and just plug it in and plug it out when you need it. But I'm gonna go ahead and take that off and slide that out, drain the coolant, and hopefully get this top end off soon. I got both radiators out. I'm actually kind of surprised. They're pretty straight. They're not too bent that way. In this way, I think this one's just a little crooked. But honestly, I'm pretty surprised. These are completely stock, and I put a lot of hours on this bike, so that's cool. But anyways, I got a bunch of bolts in the toe, and I'm keeping the dirty plastics and airbox in a different one, just to keep dirt out of kind of engine components. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep pulling stuff off, and I'm gonna put the camera back. I got the whole top end taken off the bike, and it's not looking good. I'm thinking it's the crank or the connecting rod bearing, but they're basically the same thing. So the worst news that I found is when I pull up and down on the rod right here, you can feel a little bit of play on the bottom end. There's not supposed to be any play at all, so that's kind of a dead giveaway that the crank is bad. And you can still see we got a bunch of metal shavings down in the bottom end. But other than that, the OEM cylinder with a ton of hours on it looks pretty decent. It's still got cross hatching in there, and there's no grooves or anything, so I think this is going to be safe to reuse. But that's going to be it for this video. In part 2, I'm probably going to take the engine out of the bike, start getting that like at least prepared to be rebuilt, clean up the subframe, clean the frame, maybe get some things vapor blasted. But you can see in the teardown there's a bunch of dirt on everything, so I'm going to clean all the parts that are in the boxes, clean the frame. I'm not going to do it perfect because I think I'm going to sell the bike after I do the whole rebuild. So I'm going to clean all this, rebuild the engine, and sell the bike. And I think I have a new bike in mind. I don't know yet, so stay tuned for that. But I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you're new. And I guess like the video, but stay tuned for part 2. We're going to get the engine rebuilt and maybe get a new bike.